you if you are willing to work with me. I seek the downfall of Mum-Ra.
Yeah, if it means we'll stop getting attacked by Mum Ra, I'm game.
I think it's a good
Djedamu
idea.
smiles sadly and says, you will never stop being attacked by Mum-Ra.
How do we defeat him?
He laughs out loud. He says, defeat? One cannot defeat Mum-Ra. One can only subdue Mum-Ra momentarily. But there is the secret. And he holds his index finger up and winks at you.
Okay. See,
We need only a
now-
moment.
So now we're being cryptic. I want answers, old man.
He holds his hands open and he says, pledge yourself to our cause.
We will help you if you help us.
He says, by helping me, you help yourselves and everyone.
And start talking.
You get the rippling of trust again with the question mark. And the Myconid king sits on his throne regally, awaiting supplication.
We already gave up our weapons. If that's what you ask.
You get a ripple of mental images of peace only. We need a pledge of alliance.
Alliance with Mike and the King? I have no problem allying with you.
On behalf of the material world, we want you to ally with the Feywild.
I have no problem allying with the Sealy Court.
I have no problem with that either. You're asking a druid to ally with the Feywild. I don't see the problem there.
Djedamu laughs
help
and
the Feywild by defeating the bonus. What are they called?
what did you say, Ashfire? I missed it.
Well, we are already helping the Feywild by defeating the foreigners, whatever,
Indeed.
and putting out the eyes.
That's right, you have all the eyes. The Myconid king stands up and bows to you as he sees your mental images of cutting out the eyes of the Fomorians. And he says that is what gained you this audience of peace. Djedamu says, if you are, as you say, friends of the Sealy Court, and then he notices your cloak, Hablarn, and he says, ah, you are one of us. Welcome,
What?
brother. And he holds his
What a
hands open.
I'm sorry?
He noticed your
What a
cloak
twist.
for the first time. He says, a servant of the gloaming glade. Welcome, brother. And he stands up and holds his arms out.
I
Hug
will cautiously approach.
Traitor.
Step
You
And
out.
know-
I'll lean
He'll meet
into
you
him,
halfway.
and I will say, I'm sorry, what is the gloaming glade?
Do you meet him halfway?
I'll meet him halfway, yes.
All right. He hugs you. And he gasps a little and he says, you don't know, you wear the cloak and don't know what the gloaming glade is. And he leans his head back and laughs at the ceiling.
This is
What
the
a
only
strange
possession
world
I
this
have
is.
of my father.
He looks at you in shock. Father, wow, this gets better and better all the time. He holds his finger up and says, it's not my secret to tell. But
Huh.
you've pled your case.
Oh,
I trust you. If you do not seek to take me back or eliminate me, as you have told the king, then I welcome you as friends.
If you can tell us how to defeat Mumra and free all of the people that he's enslaved inside the temples, then I will be your ally.
He says, this information I would never hide. The secret to defeating Mumra I would gladly share to anyone, friend or foe. Even the drow within the fortress. He
No, I told you the
says,
secret.
he
Oh, not
says,
drow.
indeed drow. Let's see. Okay.
that-
Djedamu will reveal his information if you guys are, it sounds like you guys are open to joining the Crusade of the Feywild, or the Gloaming Glade, as he calls it.
Yeah.
I'll put that in the chat.
Sure.
Down. Do we get special banners and stuff?
No.
Can I get a little flag that flies from one of my horns?
He nods at Havlarn, and you get a mental image of Havlarn sewing.
You think Havlar can't sew?
Let's see. I've already talked about Auriga being a turncoat, loyal to Mumra. This is all from Djedamu. He's sending you guys mental images again. He got the populace hooked on narcotics as a way to overcome the nightmare as Mumra worked to awaken Dindar. So as Mumra works to wake Dindar up, the nightmare gets worse. And so Mumra, playing both sides, recommends narcotics. He's like the high priest at that time. This is a long time ago. Okay. Djedamu has a lot of lore. He will impart this to you. The gods, Matarua, Gorm, and Usamigaris, are actually what you would call demigods. They were physical people. Each had their own temple, which you already know, and were supposed to safeguard the central temple, the big one in the middle, which houses the Seal of Night, which is what keeps Dindar out of the world.
Neat.
When Mumra, let's see, yep, so the three gods, the three demigods, Matarua, Gorm, and Usamigaris found out Mumra's plot to release Dindar. By the way, if Mumra could release Dindar and subvert Ubteo, Dindar could eat the sun, and that would begin an era of the Black Sun, in which basically the Shadowfell would consume the material world, and then the Feywild as well, and you would just have three versions of the Shadowfell, of which Mumra would be king, of course. Alright? And so when the three demigods discovered this plot, they entered the central temple to stop Mumra and were never heard from again. Notice that as you guys met the Brotherhood of Gorm and the Warrior Maidens of Matarua and the Magi of Usamigaris, there were no clerics among them. There was no deity to give them magic, miracles. That's also about the time when monsters started prowling all the temples, and each of the three factions had to withdraw into their sanctums and were assailed by these prowling monsters throughout the temples. They were creations of Mumra. Djedamu did escape into the Feywild. According to his lore, and this is another thing where, you could see like Saruman in his tower studying the old lore and the old books. Djedamu did the same thing. He had all the lore, and he was seeking a way to defeat Mumra. And you see this, he'll explain through mental images, Mumra is invulnerable because he is empowered by the four ancient spirits of evil: the vulture, the ox, the boar, and the crocodile. Each of these spirits has to be removed before Mumra can even be faced. If you face him before that, you seek sure defeat. There's no way to beat him, especially if he's Mumra the Ever-Living. He would basically run through all six of you and slaughter you. And then you get an image Djedamu sends to you. He sends you a mental image of basically Mumra running through and slaughtering a bunch of his own people in Mumra the Ever-Living form, where he gets big and strong and powerful. And so, in seeking an end, or a way of getting past Mumra, or a way to end his threat, Djedamu found an artifact. It's called the Mirror of Life Trapping. It could trap a person within its confines for a time. It would be actually an unlimited amount of time, but that person is still able to function within that mirror. So Mumra could teleport out. He has the power to teleport, but it would take him some time. So Djedamu seeks the Mirror of Life Trapping to trap Mumra for a day, to then be able to destroy these four ancient spirits of evil, to make Mumra able to be destroyed when he finally re-arrived. It's a long shot, he admits, but it's the only way he sees to do this. He does admit... Go ahead.
Oh, go on.
He says that the Mirror of Life Trapping is currently held by the Fomorian King, King Grickbar.
Shit.
Yep. And
Of
here's
course. Because
here's where you guys
what?
get a bunch more backstory. This is all quick fire information. When Djedamu got here, the Globing Glade, which is the forest you guys have been traveling through, was held by Della the Noble, who was a unicorn. She held this forest, and she had the neighboring elves in the fortress that was basically on the frontier of where the Fomorians were in the Fadark beneath. Now, Djedamu explains that Mumra is so powerful that he exists on all three planes, the Shadowfell, the natural world, and the Feywild at the same time. His pyramid of, the Black Pyramid exists in all three versions of the world. That's how powerful he is. And with his power, he made an alliance with the Fomorians and the Drow, and gave them, or the Drow found the mirror, used it as blackmail against Mumra because that's his only real weakness, and formed an alliance with him, and then gave it to the Fomorian king. And Mumra then gave King Grickbar, the king of the Fomorians, an amulet and enchanted it so that he could not be hurt so long as he wore it. Unfortunately, only the horn of a unicorn could destroy that necklace. Unfortunately, again, King Grickbar then took his mirror into the neighboring forest where the Gloaming Glade is, and trapped Della the Noble, the unicorn, in the mirror. So she's trapped in the mirror.
So there's a loop.
Yep. And so once she no longer controlled the forest, he brought his Fomorian troops out, conquered the fortress, which he now controls, subjugated the elves that lived there. So he's now king and has a bunch of elven servants and victims. And he holds court there, and he sends his Fomorians out to the Gloaming Glade. Now, the Gloaming Glade is a growing grounds for treants. If you read the entry for treants in the monster manual, it says that they are grown over centuries. Elven druids do certain rituals and rituals to awaken trees into treants. And so what the Fomorians do is go through and set fire to trees until they find one that's alive, a treant, and then they give it the evil eye, pervert it into their side, and then set fire to it to rampage through the forest. Just for fun, good
Grins
times.
and giggles.
Grins and giggles. And so that's what King Grickbar is doing, and that's where Djedamu is here. He has his lore. He has not much to offer besides information. Della is trapped in the mirror. The mirror is in the possession of King Grickbar. King Grickbar cannot be harmed unless he is hit by the horn of a
That's such a
unicorn.
loop.
So you guys, he says, I know it's a long shot. And he comes over here and sits down again. But it's the only shot we have.
How can we take the mirror if we can catch the king, if the unicorn is trapped, and only the unicorn can break the necklace? I mean,
Djedamu holds a finger up and smiles at you and grins. And he said, and the tip of his finger sparkles with bright light when he does that. And he says, fortunately, we have subversion on our side. You say you killed all the Fomorians you found, right?
Four of them.
So no one knows you're here. The King Grickbar thinks that he's invulnerable, and they don't suspect anyone else could come through. So, we have the element of surprise. And Fomorians are not particularly bright. If you could sneak into the castle under his nose, there's quite a lot you could do. Furthermore,
it's really hard.
Furthermore, he holds up his other index finger, and he says, we are not alone. There is a tribe nearby of Furbolgs. If you don't know what a Furbolg is, it is basically a Goliath of the Feywild. He says there's a tribe of Furbolgs. Previously, they were no friends to the Gloaming Glade, but, like you, they hate the Fomorians more. We may be able to make allies of them.
allies with what? Excuse me?
What's that?
I didn't get that. Allies with what? Wait, the Fomorians?
Allies with the Furbolgs. It is a.
Furbolgs?
There you go, Furbolg.
Furbolg.
You Google that, look at images, you'll get an idea. They are basically giant dwarves. They're Feywild giants. They aren't, like Djedamu was saying, they aren't necessarily friendly to the Myconid kingdom or Djedamu himself, but they hate the Fomorians. They are part of the Sealy court, and so you do have a connection there. If you guys could somehow recruit them to our cause, that would be another positive effect. He says they have recently suffered defeat at the hands of Mum-Ra, and so we have a connection there. There you guys go. Plenty of food for thought.
Too much food for thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
This
full.
is like a month of quests.
Well, yeah. Djedamu says, I only got here yesterday, but I found this much out on my own. Surely you could keep up.
All right.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
didn't get
why
here
did I-
yesterday, bud.
I'll take a small detachment of Myconid and go over to the Furbolgs by myself. And ask them to help.
Might not be the best idea.
Probably not.
I don't think you're the best person to talk to the Furbolgs, my friend.
You get
Your
laughter.
diplomatic skills are.
The whole crowd of Myconids laughs at the idea of exiting the cave.
Wait,
You're
what?
right.
What do you mean?
Somebody made a good nature check on Myconids and know that they have sun sickness. They wither
yeah,
and die in
that's
direct sunlight.
So I can't
And there's
take
no
them
night here.
to the cave, out of the cave. Oh
Yeah.
man, I was gonna see
How
if
did they
one
get
of them
here
wanted
in
to
the
come with
first
me.
place?
Darn.
What?
They grew here.
Well,
This
You know.
cave is where they live.
I mean, this
They
might
died.
connect
That's
to
what
an
I
underdark
thought, yeah.
of the world.
They're basically stuck here. Like the whole
Well. Okay, so we know what we need to do.
Well, not really.
How to do it is, well, no, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. We need to make allies with anyone we can, defeat as many Fomorians as we can along the way, and try not to give away the fact that we're here, you know.
Yeah.
What the king?
Then we have to
We
go
would
find the
fight
mirror,
more.
get the unicorn out of the mirror, get the unicorn to stab the necklace. It's all pretty much cut and dry. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but the mirror is with the king. In front of the king.
Okay, well,
Well-
if Rand would work with us, he could probably steal the mirror.
Rand, you're coming
Instead
down
of-
pretty hard now. Shit's
You
got
know.
real.
Instead of, being a jerk and stabbing random things and
Raven's lying
know.
flat on her back, all four legs in the air and snoring loudly. But Ryan, you've recovered.
yeah.
Please steal the mirror.
so.
By the way, you guys.
And then actually let the unicorn out of the mirror, Rand, is the next step. That's the next step. You can't
How do we get the
just
unicorn
take,
out of
take
the
the mirror.
How do we get the unicorn out of the mirror?
cross that
The only
bridge
reason
when
why
we come to it.
Mum-Ra gets out of it is because he is apparently all powerful.
Griff, you get a mental image from Djedamu that you see Mum-Ra using rituals and magic, being a high magic creature. He can cast spells like Dimension Door and Teleportation to escape, but he would have to take a day to memorize those spells. The unicorn has some teleportation ability, but not interplanar, and cannot escape the mirror.
So that still doesn't answer my
How do we
question.
release this?
Okay, so have I heard of this thing called a mirror of life trapping, and I know how to, remove somebody from it?
No.
Okay.
This is the.
Does
Well,
the
you may
devil
have heard
know?
something of it, but as far as well, I'll tell you what, Havlarn, you have heard of it, you know something of it, and you know that it requires a command word. You don't know the command word, and Djedamu does not know the command word.
So the Fomorian king knows the command word.
Fomorian King probably doesn't know the command
Not
word either.
exactly.
Right. Never mind.
The Fomorian King's
So,
probably not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Who'd he take the mirror from?
It was a gift from the Drow.
So we had to go to
So
the
we have to
drow
drow.
to get the command word to go to the
Wow.
Fomorian. Okay. So
That's the longest long shot I've ever had.
Wow.
let's get the
You weren't kidding when you
furbolgs.
said you had a lot of material prepared.
Well, I told Havlarn at one point that finishing this pyramid quest would put the campaign at level 10, and he was probably wondering how at the time.
Probably more like level 12.
Well, it'll put the campaign to 10. I think you guys will all be well past it by then.
Let's
We'll
get the
see.
furbolgs to join together with other woodland creatures and go
I said the
harass the
giants.
Fomorians while we go to the Drow and get the command word.
Well, remember, we can't leave the Feywild. The portal's closed.
Right.
Yeah.
So
There
we have
is no portal. It isn't closed. It's just gone.
Can I asked Djedamu, is there a way you could open a portal back to the material plane so that we can consult our employer?
Bring allies.
Unfortunately, I am not so powerful as to be able to cast that spell.
How'd he do it the first time?
He ran through a portal that was already existing.
He had a library of lore at his disposal and supplicants. He says the Fomorians murdered many of his followers when they got here. Ashfire can tell you, as he's used his fighter feature, Djedamu is a 5th level spellcaster.
Yeah. So.
So are there? There's not. Doesn't happen to be a detachment of Drow out here in the Feywild.
Well,
They
he
should
did
be
this
here.
thing,
But the
his,
dude give the Orion
fighter
the
level
mirror.
thing for Djedamu. Can I use mine for the Myconid King?
Yeah,
I
he did that as well.
Because I mean, they got it to the Fomorian King somehow. Was there?
Yep.
A place
So,
where the Drow came in.
Djedamu will inform you that the Drow are part of the Unseelie Court, and if you remember back a little bit, there were Drow on the material plane, so they did have a way of getting through. They were selling civilians to the Yuan-Ti at the Friendly Armin, remember that?
So
that's where we need to go. To the
will
north, to the
would
backup,
Djedamu
everything.
know where the Drow are in the Feywild?
Where? And then you get laughter again. Time, place, space-time, that's all. Djedamu waves dismissively and says, that's all material plane thinking. You're going to have to free your mind a bit if you're going to get around the Feywild. And then
What do you mean by that?
he gets serious and says, don't worry about finding the Drow. They will find you.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, we need to find the right drow, though. Not every drow is gonna know the key.
Well, if we find some Drow, we can use racist thinking and assume that all Drow know all other Drow. Right?
He laughs and he says that this is true. He says, I will do everything in my power to help you. He says, I have told you everything except one detail. The Myconid Kingdom does have a connection into the bowels of the Elven Fortress, which the Fomorian King now holds. You may be able to get into the keep and do a few forays without attracting the detection of the Fomorians. Being as big as they are, they can't go through all the hallways that the elves maintain. They use the elves as slave labor, and that may be another way for you to get more information.
I like that idea. That was a great
We
idea.
assassinate them one by one.
What was that, Ashfire?
So we go there and assassinate them one by one. Or
Well, maybe.
The patrols.
Djedamu does request, and he puts his hands together in like a peace motion. He says, the Myconid King would prefer to maintain a neutral stance in this war. He understands the need to dispose of Mumra, but he does not want to exterminate his kind in the process. That would be counterproductive.
Okay.
Do you have any connection to the Giants in the Feywild?
To the what?
Giants, or how do you say that?
Djedamu says, that is a good
I think
point.
they are definitely enemies of the
That is so very true. He puts a finger up in it. it glows again, and he says, if we could find that way of releasing Della the Noble, she will resume her tenure at maintaining the glowing glade, and we would have an army of treants at our disposal. If you can just free
Yeah,
Della
we need
from
to
the
go
mirror.
there.
That is the trick.
Ah. So I guess our only lead is the road and the underground.
That is the lead, yes. Djedamu agrees with you guys' assessment. The trial would be a good place to start.
We kind of have no choice but to start there.
Yeah, you need that command
Yeah,
word.
everything else is like blocked.
Good assessment. Okay. How you guys doing on time?
All good.
I'm good.
Keep-
I'm good.
I'd like to tell the king that if any more of our kind comes through and mention Ingmar, they're on our side, and you need to explain to them where to go, how to handle things, or what we're doing, because there will be more people coming if we're not come back. And
Good
if they
job.
just, because most of them will mention Ingmar.
Yep. They'll keep an eye out. And so, yeah, this will be a safe point for anyone else coming through to the Feywild. Of course, nobody goes back to give word to Ingmar, so
No, but I'm hoping that maybe we can
as
mark
people
the
come
cave
through,
or
yeah,
just
the
mark the
Myconid
cave
King welcomes
Ingmar
you
or
guys.
something. Yeah, Ingmar's safe house.
This is a safe place for you guys to rest and recuperate on the Feywild. So this is your new headquarters, so to speak, until you resolve the situation on the Feywild and find a way home.
Can I have my chain now? My spike chain back?
Yes, you guys can take your weapons back.
Yay. Can I make friends with this little guy right here?
Make
Can
a
I have some more
persuasion check.
shrooms?
Nope.
Usually you cannot.
More shrooms.
You guys are welcome to lick, but not to eat.
I still have that chunk.
They'll give you all the spores you want.
Yeah, more spores, please.
Spores are in
Spores are
plenty.
nice.
Yep. So Rand and Ryan can be preoccupied with plenty of OD spores.
We need to think straight right now, not to be drugged, guys.
Oh, what do you mean? Drugged is straight for me.
You know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. This is intense.
Can you
I
really
like
fight
this.
in that state?
Come closer and let's find out.
I don't know.
Oh, you're in my reach. Let's find out now.
No.
So yeah, you guys can have extended rest here. If you want to keep going, I'll take a quick break and eat something, and then come back to it.